Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we're going to be taking a look at potentially the slowest entry frag on attack, Zofia. Zofia is a 1-speed 3-armor attack operator that specializes in soft destruction and crowd control. Zofia has good guns, secondary gadgets that complement her kit, and a good primary gadget. Good Zofia players will destroy utility, open up sightlines, gather info, and concuss enemies, all whilst popping off with kills at the same time. Let's learn how to play her. Zofia is equipped with her twin tosser, which launches 2 different types of grenades, of which she gets 2 each. These grenade types are impact and concussion grenades. The impact grenades are equipped by default, but you can use the alternate fire mode button to toggle between the two as many times as you want. The impact grenades work exactly how the defender's secondary gadget works in terms of damage, soft destruction, and explosive radius. There is a slight projectile arc to the impact grenades which you should be aware of when using it at long range. Each grenade can deal up to 60 damage if you get a direct hit, but this isn't the primary use for them. Zofia's concussion grenades apply the same effect as Ella's Grismot mines to defenders. This effect includes temporary blindness, hearing disruption, screen shake, blacked out peripheral vision, a green screen tint, double vision, and white floating dots. This effect will last for 5 seconds. The blast radius of the concussion effect is 6 meters, but a grenade will automatically detonate within 3 meters of a defender, otherwise it will hit a surface and bounce off, then detonating after a very short time. Both grenades have a pretty straightforward use, but you only get 2 of each, so you need to know when to use them. Before I tell you that though, it's worth noting that you can rapid fire both grenades of the same type in quick succession, but usually one does the trick, as I'll explain later in a second, so it's usually not that worth it. Impact grenades should be used to destroy bulletproof utility to save your teammates frag grenades, or create sightlines and other angles through soft walls, floors, and hatches. You can do various things with the impact grenades, but utility clear is definitely my favourite. Opening a soft wall or floor can help you get another angle onto the defenders into sight, so definitely take that into consideration too, as playing it both above and below sight is an option with Zofia. You can use your concussion grenades to not only use a crowd control ability on the enemy to swing a gunfight in your favour, but you can also use it to gather intel on the enemy's position. The proximity detonation feature of the concussive grenades allows you to use Zofia's lifeline launcher to check angles behind bits of cover without having to fully face check the angle or even peek it sometimes. If the grenade detonates prematurely, you know an enemy is in that area and you should swing them because they are now concussed too. If the grenade doesn't go off prematurely and bounces off a surface before detonating, then you can be pretty certain that there's no enemy about in that area. The concussion effect doesn't stack, and obviously the impact explosion doesn't either, so you can see why it is not worth launching 2 of the same type of grenade in the same spot in rapid succession. Zofia's twin tosser has some pretty simple uses, but they can be incredibly useful in certain situations, and it gives her some decent utility. Use your impact grenades to clear defender utility or open up sightlines to get more picks, and use her concussion grenades to gather intel on the enemy's position as well as disorienting their hearing and vision to get easier frags. Zofia's primary weapon options are the M762 assault rifle and the LMG-E light machine gun. Her secondary weapon is the RG15 handgun, as there are no other options available. I personally choose the M762 paired with the RG15 of course. The M762 is a good and reliable assault rifle with both a good damage stat and a good fire rate too. These alone make it a good entry fragging gun. Zofia also gets access to every scope up to the 2 times, so you get access to the coveted 1.5 times scope, and there isn't too much of a recoil kick, but there is a noticeable one. Attachments wise, I choose the flash hider paired with the vertical grip to minimize that recoil kick as much as possible, and I'd advise you do the same. While Zofia is the type of entry fragger, she's a slower one, so you don't need the increased aim down sight speed from the angled grip. It's a good weapon that's enjoyable to use, hard hitting, and reliable too. As for the LMG-E, it's not as good as it used to be, but it's still decent. The damage stat and fire rate it has are inferior to the M762's, but they are still good stats. The main appeal is the behemoth mag size of 150 bullets, but this is counteracted by the LMG recoil nerf implemented a while back, which scales the recoil the longer you hold down the trigger, making this thing difficult to control at best. Use the M762 for an easier and generally better option. The RG15 is a good pistol, with it being one of the only ones with a scope and a red dot at that, so it's decent if you run out of bullets on the M762, or if you want some style points when going for one-taps. Extra style points if you have a black eyes for it, like I got when doing a pack opening after collecting all the footage for this video. In terms of secondary gadgets, Zofia gets access to 2 claymores and 3 breaching charges. It's completely personal preference as to which one you choose because they both work well. I just tend to opt for the claymores. Claymores help prevent flanks and runouts from overly aggressive defenders that are completely bloodthirsty. I tend to place one at a common runout spot and then one behind me and the team when inside the building to deter roaming defenders from flanking us. Breaching charges can suit Zofia's kit very well though, as they enable her to play vertically above sight and generally open up more soft surfaces than before. Playing vertically with Zofia is great as you can make 5 total sight lines with your breaching charges and impact grenades combined. It's your choice, take into account what site you're attacking and your team composition before selecting a secondary gadget so you can get the most value out of that gadget slot. You want to set up a flank cam during the prep phase as it enables you to see any defenders that are roaming in that part of the map during the prep phase, but it also enables you to get a drone to where you need it quicker in the action phase. This is incredibly useful for playing vertical. To start the action phase, you want to drone yourself into the building and plan a route to site so that you can pick off any defenders that are shallow roaming and rejoin your team once inside. If you do encounter any defenders, don't shy away from the gunfight as it is partly your job to get some early picks, plus you have the M762 which is a great gun, and you have concussion grenades to swing it in your favour. Place a claymore down behind you if you have them so you're less likely to get flanked from behind. When you rejoin your team, use your impact grenades to destroy bulletproof utility or open up sight lines for you and your team to act off and hopefully get some picks. Before pushing into sight, get a teammate to drone you in and use your concussion grenades to stun the enemy and disorient them, as well as gathering more intel on other defenders that may be closer to you. Once you clear sight and the diffuser is down, do your best to protect the diffuser and get the final kills to win the round. Zofia only has 3 counters: Jaeger, Wamai, and Aruni. Jaeger and Aruni's gadgets will completely destroy both of your projectiles if they go into the radius of the ADS or come into the contact with the Surya gate. To prevent this, drone these gadgets out and see if you can burn them first, meaning you get something else to get deleted, then launch your grenades through. Wamai's discs relocate your grenades, meaning they will still detonate, just not where you want them to. To prevent this, do the same thing I recommended for Jaeger and Aruni. Use your impact grenades to clear bulletproof utility like deployable shields or open up sightlines so you and your team can attack the defenders from different angles. Use the M762 for a good assault rifle that can shred opponents when you have the aim for it. Use your concussion grenades to tell you if there is an enemy where you launch it quickly and react upon the concussion effect to get an easier kill. Adapt your secondary gadget to the site and map you are playing. If it's run out heavy, use claymores. If it's reliant on vertical play, use breaching charges. Learn how to frag out and get useful picks whilst also using all of your utility to get the most out of Zofia, because if you aren't going to use it then you may as well just play Ash. Overall, Zofia is an easy operator to play in my opinion, with the only learning curves being controlling the M762's recoil and learning when to use her twin tosser. Learn what to use your impact grenades on, when to use your concussion grenades, how to react to your concussion grenades concussing someone, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Zofia player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends as it does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As you will notice, we have now surpassed 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. As always, all the clips you saw in this video are taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen and in the description. Thorn will be next for the Siege series, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Get absolutely shit on.